mugging little old ladies at the bus stop for their digital purses. It's like, no, we're talking about an innovation agenda, so just cool the language and say, how do we monetize the music that's being traded? How do we get people, if they want to watch their TV show on BitTorrent, how do we make sure that the people who created it get paid? How do we give you access? This is part of a much larger vision that needs to happen, and Canada is falling behind because there's a lack of political will. So what you guys are doing tonight is helping in a big way. You're putting this on the map. This is one of a number of issues that are all interconnected. And as politicians learn not to be afraid of these issues, we can then sit down and look at them, and then we can actually start to debate them. And at the end of the day, well, we'll probably come out with a hybrid. You know, they say that a camel was a racehorse that was designed by a committee. And that'll probably be what we end up with, but it'll be better than what we have now. So I encourage you to keep going, to keep the issues coming forward, and to keep the pressure on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie. And we're going to make sure that hybrid doesn't end up like, I'm sure everybody here has seen that documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car? We're going to build something that's actually going to stay out there and is going to live. And I have my own story to tell about things I never believed when I first heard about them, like your story about the bulletin boards. I was at CRTC hearing Rogers McLean Hunter in 1993, and one person there was touting the possibility of, you probably remember this, that you could buy running shoes on this thing called the internet, which didn't really exist at the time, and remember the web did not exist at the time. And I heard that and I thought, is this person crazy? Aren't these people going to want to try these running shoes on? Well, as it turned out, I think we probably do buy running shoes on the net, so you never know, eh? Rocky, you're up next.
Yeah, Rocky. Being as we're all doing confessions, I remember sitting in '92, first year university, and enjoying downloading in a binary format my pictures of Cindy Crawford.
That was an overshare.
Thank you very much. It was like she was doing Pepsi stuff. She's all legit. It's all good. To kind of back up and look at some of the details that were given by the two other panelists, one thing that should be shared, I guess, should be one aspect that was discussed over in Toronto. Just how prominent are these two other providers in Ontario, Rogers and Bell? And it immediately brought in the discussion of overall, those who are monopolies or incumbents, they occupy 96% of the market space. So when you consider the, we'll do questions in it. When you consider the overall impact that has, the word choice really has to be challenged, because at the end of the day, if you're going to say those words, it actually has to be in a functional way. And right now, I don't think that is the case. The other thing, when we discuss the crossover between broadcast and telecom, there's a very serious something there. Went and had a little bit of a search online and looked at, I Googled it, little plug for you, Jacob. The word,
I work at the commission, keep going.
I looked at media ownership and found this little website that I thought was, they say it's up to date, so I apologize if I'm off by a little here, but Globe and Mail, CTV, BNN, OLN, Info FI, Fashion TV, Access, CTV Newsnet, CTV Ottawa, MTV, Sportsnet, IFDS, Rogers TV, L'actualité, Canada Business, Maclean's, Chatelaine, Flair, The National, and about 150 others, owned by Rogers and Bell, in some way or shape or form. They are very much in our face, and they very much impact what we think and do every day. So when we talk about anything that has to do with the geek talk, as many have actually said over the last week, which is I guess where I'm sitting from at this point, being that kind of a geeky kind of a world that I live in, it kind of hit home. And I thought it was probably worth mentioning at the onset rather than throughout discussions, because it's one of those things where you really have to realize the impact these people are having on our lives in order to actually deal with them. I'm about being completely open and truthful when I make a statement, whether it be at the CRTC or in public, and I want to stand behind what I say. And I think at this point, if we're going to do this, we all have to say, you know what? Shed all the unknowns, look at what we've got in hand, and then from there build. And I think this is where we have to go from now on. And things like throttling, yes, it's very much an issue. In my world, it's one of wholesale. So that's being dealt with in one aspect. The other aspect, from a consumer perspective, they're very much controlling, again, what people are doing online. This is not impacting only that 5% that they speak of. It's 100%. Anybody using BitTorrent is being affected throughout those hours. So it's not just a little bit, it's everyone being affected. If you use a certain protocol they don't like, you are going to be affected. Plain and simple. So, where do we go next? We have to set some foundation so that everybody agrees and moves forward together. I'll leave it at that for now.